second event that we are co-organizing together with the Estonian colleagues from a similar office. And Ulla Napa, my colleague, Estonian colleague, will say a little hello as well. So, as I mentioned, this is already the second event targeting evaluation procedures. The first one was in December, and we looked at how Horizon program is using experts. This event is looking specifically at cost, and there will be more, so stay tuned. So these online formats, they really exceed our expectations in a way that we can reach so many people that otherwise would be very complicated. And Julia, can you show the map of our registered participants? Next slide, please. Yes. So we have a very high interest from 43 countries, not only from Lithuania and Estonia, but basically from all over the world. And the Croatian colleagues, they got that message. You have a very good communication channel, so what can I say? So, but everyone is welcome to this event, and hope you will find it interesting and useful for yourself. So, Ulla, would you like to say a little hello from your side?
Hello. So my name is Ulla Napa. I'm from Estonian Research Council small office in Brussels. And I very warmly want to welcome you all to our event. And as Brigitta told, we will continue with that kind of events. So in the future, we plan to introduce as well different SME related programs and how the evaluation is done there. But I want to very welcome as well our cost office guests, and we have here today as well one expert who is sharing her experience, and as well cost national contact point. So welcome, and I think we can start the event.
I just want to add that we are very thankful for those who posed the questions in the registration form. That was very useful for our speakers, and most of the questions will be answered during the presentations. But if you still have some questions, please use the chat function, and we will answer these questions if we'll be able to do that. Now the floor is to our cost presenters. So Katalin, the floor is yours.
Good morning. I think I also have to introduce my colleague, Rose Cruz Santos, who was helping me preparing this event, and she will now start the cost part of the webinar, and will shoot some questions to me that I should answer in order to introduce cost to you. Rose, please. I think you are muted, Rose.
Sorry, Kata, for that. I know that we have some issues technically, but now it's okay. So thank you very much, Brigitta. As cost, we connect research initiatives across Europe and beyond. We are very pleased that more than 450 registered today. After sorting the questions we received, we prepared a concise program, and I will be asking my colleagues most, if not all, of your questions. Let us begin with Kata. Kata, would you like to introduce us to the world of the European cooperation in science and technology, or COST in short? What does COST offer for our research community?
Yeah, thank you very much for the question, allowing to give a quick overview of what COST is. First of all, allow me to decode the COST word, because it stands for so many things. But in our case, it stands for European Cooperation in Science and Technology, and it's a funding organization for research and innovation networks called COST Actions. These are networks that offer an open space for collaboration among scientists across and beyond Europe. And they give impetus to research advancements and innovation. These cost actions, they are bottom-up, meaning that the researchers can create the network based on their own research interests, ideas, and demand. And they can create these networks by submitting proposals to the cost open call. It is, of course, possible to join ongoing actions, those that keep expanding over the funding period of 4 years. These cost actions are multi-stakeholder, often involving private sector, policymakers, as well as civil society. Last but not least, and this is why we are here today, experts can also engage with costs by becoming external evaluators of the proposals submitted to the open call. And let me stress the uniqueness of cost, that is, that basically you don't have to win any grants in order to join cost or become a cost participant. It is only your expertise, talent, ambition, and perseverance that enables you to join and fully benefit of cost activities.
Would you like to tell us, Kata, also about the open call?
Yes, the open call is the mechanism via what the researchers can submit their proposals. This is the mechanism which allows to submit proposals anytime in the year, but allows also the cost association to have a clear-cut deadline when collecting all the submitted proposals and provide evaluation for them. Proposals coming in can cover any kind of scientific field. They are bottom-up, meaning, as it was stressed before, that they are reflecting the demands and needs of the researchers. There is no prescribed topics provided. These proposals are often multidisciplinary, covering and involving a wide range of experts and expertise. There are certain cutoff date or collection dates, which are advertised regularly when the received proposals are collected and provided, and evaluation provided on them. And here I think I have to make a small announcement, because it was our team was preparing for this event, was originally three-member team composing Rose, myself, as well as our colleagues Giuseppe from the scientific team that cannot be here today with us due to a difficulty arrived very unexpectedly and very lately to the event. So I have to replace him. So whatever question you had, Rose, for Giuseppe, please shoot it to me. I will try to answer as best as possible.
I know. Thank you, Kata. So it's really nice that you already explained to us, a bit about the networking tools and the actions. And I think you also mentioned our presence in the 38 countries and 2 partner and cooperating countries, right?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. So now we would like to present the participants more on the open call as evaluators. It would be great if you could explain to our experts how can they get involved at cost proposal evaluation process, because many of our participants would be eager to know, because that's the theme of today. Thank you.
Indeed, and so it's the most important question of the day.
Yes.
How to get involved as a cost proposal evaluation evaluator, what to do and how to do it. So there will be a presentation just right after this dialogue that will get more into it. But to start with, to providing a short answer that could be elaborated further, is that becoming a cost proposal evaluator or cost expert starts with the wish to get engaged with cost as a contributor to the success of the cost actions. To become a cost expert, you need to have the ambition to become external evaluator, a solid and well-documented CV, clearly showing your expertise and background, because these information need to be fully filled in the so-called e-cost database provided for this purpose. And as for everything in life, of course, you need a little bit of luck. Because you need to have the proposals submitted would require the expertise you can offer to evaluate them. When you submit your details in eCost, you can be invited as cost expert to evaluate the proposals, but also as cost action rapporteur to assess the progress of the actions. And there will be the next presentation and also the 2 testimonials from our experts present here today to further elaborate this question.
Yeah, so you want me to ask already Professor Vilmante, or you will still present the slides on the opportunities?
I think it would be best to go look at the slides to just show the frame and the overview. And by knowing all these backgrounds, I think the testimonials would come very handy, because
I asked Julia, yes. Maybe she can share the slides of Giuseppe.
Julia will share it, I think.
Yeah.
So
maybe you can explain the, a summary of the opportunities there are and how to be considered as cost expert following the slides.
Yes, I will do so. I will follow the slides very well.
Thank you,
Giuseppe. And if there is any doubt, that will be still posed via the questions in the chat. But already we took care of all the questions received, and we were very happy to receive so many and good questions in advance to this webinar. So as Brigitte said in her introduction, most of the questions, if not all, were taken into account when preparing the presentation. So good morning, and allow me to introduce myself then after so much talking. My name is Katalina Alfeldi. I'm a policy officer at the Cost Association, and I'm mainly responsible for 2 things, the so-called inclusiveness policy of cost, which rhymes to the widening objective of Horizon 2020 as well as Horizon Europe, and the global networking. And today I'm stepping in the shoes of my colleague, Giuseppe Lugano, who prepared the presentation and who is a science officer that actually is practicing all the tips and tricks that will be shared via the presentation, how to prepare to become a cost expert and what to do in order to be selected, because that's maybe a more important question for you, especially for those who would like to take on this in this role. So in this presentation, there will be a brief description about of the open call, and then there will be a presentation. The presentation will continue to focus on the role of the experts and also to explain how they are seen from, let's say, from the cost administration, and what tasks, how much workload is foreseen when you engage as an expert. The next slide, please. Thank you. So the open call, as briefly mentioned already, is a competitive process, as it always receives far more proposals than actually it could allow to get funded. It reflects a bottom-up, open and inclusive principles, as there are no predefined topics and priorities. And as stressed already, it is open to any proposals from any scientific and technological field. The cost actions that are being born following the proposal submission are open and evolving networks. They are excellent environment to boost the careers of early career investigators. They are paying attention to gender balance and promoting the involvement of researchers from so-called inclusiveness target countries, ensuring the aim of widening participation. The next slide, please. But after the philosophy, please allow me to get be more in the technicalities or practicalities of the open call, which is open basically all the time. But there are certain collection dates foreseen. The next one, so if you submit a proposal today or in the near future, the next deadline, the next collection date will be the 29th of October 2021. That will be the moment when the submitted proposals will be collected and will be proceeded to evaluation. The open call process, as we call it, so from the moment of proposal submission to actual date of approval by the final list of funded actions, takes about 7 to 8 months and results normally in 40-45 actions, new actions to be approved. The success rate is around 11%. So you can see that there is a competition. The proposals submitted to our electronic platform, the eCost, and it consists of a technical annex and a network of proposers. This network of proposers, if you wish, then this is the kind of consortium that is set up for running the action and run the project. The submitter is the main proposer, who is normally the coordinator or the action chair of the future action, with peers from other countries and other organizations that have the role of secondary proposers. As for participation, it is open to researchers and innovators from anywhere, from universities, from research centers, from small enterprises, large enterprises, public or private organizations, from any science and technology field, any career stage, and they have to have, of course, an original and innovative idea. The submitters can come from any of the 38 COST member states and cooperating state, and the proposal submission can also, the proposal network can also welcome countries or participants from countries that are not members of the COST Association. The only criterion is that they have to respect the eligibility criterion to have at least 7 COST countries. Half of them should come from inclusiveness countries. If this is respected, then the network can grow as best fit to the action needs, proposed action needs. The next slide, please. The open call process involves 4 steps. And I will quickly list the 4 steps, but then we'll focus on step 1 because this is the topic of our current discussion today. So step 1 is the proposal evaluation by the 3 external experts. These are the experts that are selected on the basis of their scientific and technological expertise necessary for the evaluation of the proposals. There is an algorithm set up in eCost that supports the identification of relevant experts by matching their expertise provided in their profiles and those specified in the proposals. The scientific officers, colleagues in our scientific department, they are the colleagues that are checking the expert's suitability based on the CV and other provided information. Following step 1, there is step 2, which is the revision of evaluation's consistency and quality check provided by the review panels. Step 3 is the selection among top-ranked proposals by the scientific committee of the COST Association. And last but not least, in step 4, there is the approval of the actions to be funded by the COST Committee of Senior Officials, that is the governing body of the COST Association. Following this 4-step procedure, it has to be stressed that this is a double-blind peer review because neither the proposers nor the evaluators' identities are disclosed. I think I will ask for the next slide, please. Before leaving the open call, just one slide to be dedicated to the external evaluation, and mainly to show you the criteria based on what the proposals are evaluated in step 1. There are four main sections for the criteria. This is the scientific and technological excellence, the networking excellence, impact, and last but not least, implementation. As you can see, there is a maximum of 50 points could be awarded, and below 34 points, a proposal will lose its possibility to get funded. So this is basically what the experts need to use when they evaluate the proposals. But who are these experts? What they need to show? What kind of expertise do they need to have in order to be experts? That will be the topic of the next couple of slides. So the next one, please. I think you could already get a glimpse into the open call to understand how it works, what it provides as a result. But now maybe just a couple of words about benefits of getting involved as a cost expert. So let's say this is the invitation or the explanation on what you can gain by adding this extra duty to your already very heavy days. Of course, when you become an expert, you have the opportunity to extend your knowledge on the latest developments and trends of your scientific field, even additional related fields. If you are aiming to submit a cost proposal yourself, but you've never done it before, it is also a great learning process to see what is a great and what is a less high quality proposal for a cost action. You can add to your CV that you are an expert or that you were called as an expert to evaluate cost proposals, which can increase your reputation. And from our side, this is a great, you can provide a great contribution to our program and increase our impact. And last but not least, there is a honorarium foreseen for the evaluators. There is €50 per proposal and €100 if selected as rapporteur for coordinating the consensus process offered. The next slide, please. Because now you have, maybe you are very much convinced that this is a good thing for you to do, but then you still want to know, okay, but what would it mean for me to on workload? How much time do I need to foresee to get this commitment fully accomplished on a high level? So first of all, let me mention that there are 2 steps involved as an external evaluator. That is, first you have to do an individual evaluation, and there is the next step is the consensus evaluation. These 2 processes going on for a whole month, 2 weeks allowed for the individual evaluation and 2 weeks allowed for the consensus evaluation. Of course, it's very difficult to exactly say how much time or how many days or hours you will need to devote to this task, because it depends on your way of evaluating, on your way of reading and comparing proposals. But we can say that the individual evaluation is foreseen for 2 weeks, and it is to read compact proposals of 15 pages that have the same structure, enabling an easier comparison between different ones. Of course, if you are a first-time evaluator, maybe as a more experienced evaluator, you will still need to familiarize and read the cost framework and evaluation guidelines. Following the individual evaluation, during the consensus evaluation, your workload or time need to dedicate to this task depends on the role that you take. If you are a rapporteur, it is more time consuming, or it can be more time consuming depending how the coordination of the process is going. If you don't have this role, it might provide less time to necessitate your work. The next slide, please. And now, as you are fully convinced that you would like to be a cost evaluator, external expert, you know how much, or you can at least feel how much time it will require from you. Let us see what do you need to do in order that this wish of yours can come true. Of course, first of all, you need to register in the ECOS database. That is an independent database, not linked to any other. and it not have any kind of linkages with the European Commission's expert database. In this database, you have to create your own personal account, providing your personal details, affiliations, scientific expertise, education, CV, bank accounts, and please, one of the most important is always with the small letters. You have to tick the box giving your consent to be included in the database and to be contacted by the Cost Association for the evaluation and monitoring tasks. When you provide your personal details, please include also any kind of online available information about your professional background, professional homepage, LinkedIn profile, or CID, you can name it, in order to provide as full picture about your expertise as possible. The next slide, please. And now, okay, and the next step in your registration in the eCost database is, of course, beyond creating your account, to provide as wide and updated information as possible in eCost about your expertise. As it is suggested to provide no more than 10 most relevant expertise areas, that is allowing to the colleagues to find the proposals that are best matching your expertise, and then you will ask to be evaluating those ones. And please update your expertise areas whenever it needed to be in line and as up to date with the actual situation as possible. The next slide, please. So now you know that you would like to go for becoming a cost expert. You created your eCost profile. You understand your benefits and advantage to take up this duty. But how to optimize, how to make your best chances to be selected as an expert out of the many other brilliant colleagues with whom you are in the same database. There are two tips that these are coming from the colleagues that are actually selecting the experts. One is to provide all elements describing you as an expert in the field, both on eCost, but please also online. So when colleagues are looking for information about your background and expertise, they would find relevant information on your professional homepage or social network profiles, in academic social networks, etc. And also make sure that your expert profile is sufficiently visible online. You can search for yourself and see what you can find, and you can see if it is relevant, updated, and a way of you would like to present yourself to become an expert in cost. So before I finish my presentation, please, the next slide, please. Just some final considerations. What to do, how to get prepared to when you finally receive the email and the invitation to evaluate a cost action proposal. You can familiarize with the cost framework and open call guidelines. You can already read it, or you can do it before you actually make up your mind to engage as a cost external expert. Please make sure that you can respect the deadlines. You can see that it's a long process. We have 7 to 8 months, but every deadline is set to allow sufficient time for people at different steps of the evaluation process to work and allow to start the next step on time. Try also put yourself in the shoes of proposers. And when you provide your comments and inputs and remarks, do it in a way that it would be helpful and useful for those whose proposal might not get funded. And for any other information and remark, you can always contact the open call at Cost Association. You can see the email address on this slide. The next slide, please. So by that, I would like to finish this presentation, and I would like to invite now, give back the floor to Rose to invite our experts to give the real life and hands-on experience of what it actually means to be a cost expert. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much, Kata, and thank you for taking over the presentation of Giuseppe, who got ill. So now I would like to thank first our cost expert. We invited Professor Vilmante. She's one of our cost experts, and really thank for giving your time. Please let us hear, and inspire the research community with your own experience as expert. Please tell us when and how did you get involved with cost, and how would you describe this cost experience so far?
Hello, everyone. Nice to see you here. I am Vilmante Liubinienė. I come from Kaunas University of Technology, Lithuania. And thank you, Katalin, for providing such a expanded explanation how to become the cost expert. You have done my job already, so I can only share some small details of my own experience. So my story is like that. First, I simply wanted to become the member of Cost Action. So I have applied for that possibility and was accepted as the member in an ongoing Cost Action. And once you become the member of the Cost Action, you are invited to fill in the user profile. So I simply filled in everything as required, also attaching my CV, and I have indicated my core expertise field, and also have added some other fields of expertise that I thought that I could be useful. I have agreed to be included into the cost expert database and forgot it. And then for 3 years, I was simply working as the member of the cost action group. It was really fantastic experience because we definitely had a fantastic network of researchers from different countries, different fields, and we've done the job. And then in 3 years, after 3 years, one day I got the email. And this was the invitation to become the external expert. So I was facing myself with a choice what to do. Should I agree or should I say, no, I have no time? But as I am always looking for different sort of challenges, I thought, okay, if I have been the member of the cost action, so definitely now I know how it functions. And it's very interesting to see how those applications look like, in a way, how they, when they are submitted, what is the quality of those applications, and so on and so forth. So I have agreed to do the job, and then it started. So as it was already mentioned, that the whole process, it takes about 2 months. I mean that from the day when you receive the invitation, you agree, and then you are to accomplish that individual evaluation. So from that time, when I got those applications, I had about maybe nearly a month for completing the job. So I have made this sort of thing. I have received 2 proposals to be evaluated. So it was in a way easier to evaluate 2 applications because then you had the possibility to compare. And once you compare, you definitely see the strong points and the weak points. And then it's maybe easier for you to understand and to see which of them are really suitable and which of them might be declined. But I think that what is really nice that there is a fantastic evaluators guide provided, so you may come back to that guide and see what are the most important things that you should check while evaluating. And also there is a short online course. So in a way you are able to consult yourself if you are doing right or wrong, depending on these teaching materials that are provided as well. So once I have supplied and handed in that individual report, then after some time, again, I got the email asking for a consensus evaluation report. So in one case, I had simply to vote and to express my opinion if I agree with what was already prepared by the rapporteur. And in other case, I was acting myself as a rapporteur. So it means that I had to find consensus of the other two evaluators, between the three evaluators all in all, just to arrive at some consensus and to submit that consensus report to the association. So once the job is done, again, you are sitting and waiting, and suddenly in some 3 months, you get the honorarium. So that's the end of my story. And if you have any questions, I would be only happy to answer to all of them.
Yes, thank you. It's really very interesting, the process, and your perseverance paid off after 3 years. But I have still another, I think 2 more questions for you. Being the evaluator, could you please tell us what is the most challenging part of this task and what is the most rewarding one?
I think the most challenging part is the responsibility. In a way, you know that those people who are writing applications, they are definitely convinced that their application is the best, and that they are definitely expecting the results and the positive evaluation of the application. But it's very important to understand that it's your responsibility, being the expert, to see the flaws and to see those really strong points and to somehow suggest the best applicators to be the winners. So I think that this is really very important, and you should have some time to think over because you understand that your decision could be met like, you know, someone may say that, okay, but maybe this evaluator is not really knowing what he or she is doing. But really, as I said, it's very nice when you can have several, at least in my case, when I had 2 proposals to be evaluated. So, and they were in a way not similar, but they were definitely, one was weak and another was strong. So it was really easier. I don't know how would I act it if I had 2 very strong proposals. Maybe it would be much more difficult for me as evaluator to consider them.
Fortunately, you are not alone in doing this task. So I'm glad that you have enlightened our participants basically on what it takes to be an evaluator. Do you still have other suggestions and tips to share to those interested to get involved as cost expert?
I think that if you are a person who may say about yourself that I am curious and I really want to take challenges and I am really interested in what's going on, and if you want to be the part of that European network and really see what are the new trends in the field of science, field of research that you yourself are participating. So I think that's the best decision that you can make, to be the expert, because definitely you will see what's coming up, what's trendy, and really you will see how this field of science is developing, and how everything is really, which direction all these things are moving towards to. Okay, any questions? Any more questions?
I will step in because I see that Rose has some technical problems. Thank you very much, Wilmante, for this very insightful and personal views of presentation. And I hope it was also, I think you also already gave some answers to questions that were coming in the chat. And I would like now to turn to another expertise from one of the organizers' country, which is Estonia, and ask Katrin Kello, who is the COST national contact point in Estonia, to explain and give an insight in what it means from the evaluation point of view to be a CNC, and what your roles and how you actually work as a CNC concerning the evaluation. Katrin, the floor is yours.
Hello to everyone, and thank you, Katalin, for inviting me. I was asked to say a few words about the role of the COST National Coordinator, or CNC, in countries. And I will show a few slides for you to find better information. But, well, my main idea will be just quickly to tell you about my tasks. And then I hope we'll have enough time to go to the questions, which some of them are very interesting in the chat. So I'm one of 40 persons who do this task in different countries. So I will try to speak for all of us. And we can be found on COST website, who we are and who is who, and the national coordinators. And then you'll find your own countries. If you are from a COST country or cooperating member or COST partner country, you can find the contact point in your language. And we are essentially the contacts to turn to with any question about COST in your national language. You can, of course, always ask from COST officials, but you can also turn to us and we can help you further or direct you, or we can help you ourselves. So I won't recount all the issues we help you on, because any question about COST in your country, you turn to us. And we explain how COST works, how to join ongoing COST actions, which is very important in case of COST. It can be done on many levels, as management committee member, as ad hoc participant. And quite practically, we help you to join COST actions, ongoing COST actions, by joining our country as country representatives to that ongoing COST action. And since these procedures are organized in different ways in different countries, then each national coordinator can advise you as, for example, Estonian or Lithuanian or Latvian research community member, how joining ongoing COST action is organized on your country. And of course, we also distribute information about info days. We organize info days, and we also distribute information about the ongoing calls, which can, of course, also be found on the COST website, but we do it in our countries. And we advise proposals. We encourage people to apply as coordinators, as leading proposals, and we help them, advise them in this proposal submission, if needed. And this next round will close on 29 October this year. And then also the evaluation procedure will start. And it's probably important to stress that this participation in the COST open call is, as proposer, is open to anyone, and it's bottom up, so the proposals state their own topic. And you cannot be evaluator in the one round in which you are proposing or being acting as a proposer. But if you are already engaged in an ongoing COST action, then you can evaluate in another round. So there is no limitation for that. And you can also establish a e-cost account and simply for the reason to be a possible evaluator. So you don't need to participate in a cost action on the other hand to be an evaluator. There was one question about this. And yes, we as coordinators, we can always explain you all these aspects, and we can guide you to documents, and we can read the documents with you together. Documents and guidelines all are available and constantly updated on the COST website. And well, from my view, this evaluation, acting as the evaluator, is really valuable experience. And I'm also Horizon NCP, and I advise my clients always to register both in the European Commission funding and tenders database and eCost as in the database as potential evaluators. It doesn't guarantee that you will be contacted, but if you are in the database, you can be lucky and be contacted, and then it's a really good experience to see how the either COST or Horizon work, how good, how less good, how excellent proposals look like, and also to be inspired by the new avenues. And in case of COST, particularly, it is interesting because COST actions are designed to explore new avenues, new research ideas, interdisciplinary ideas, where there may not yet be any publishable results. So you wouldn't encounter these ideas as journal paper evaluator, but you can encounter them as a COST action evaluator. And once more, where you can find us. And I thank you for the opportunity to intervene quickly.
Thank you very much, Catherine, for this insight into the CNC's life. I think you are, I mean, you personally for Estonia, but all the CNCs, they are the great ambassadors of COST in their national research communities, and also making the kind of messenger or bridge role from the COST program towards the researchers. So I would encourage everyone to please contact your national contact points and bombard them with questions, because they are best suits, and this is also the job to answer to your questions. And you can actually do it, of course, on your own language, which adds to the experience. Before I'm giving back the floor to Brigitta and Yle as organizers, I would need to see one missing element. That is a question, and I think we haven't yet tackled it up until now. And this is basically the expert background and the requirements, what you need to have to become a COST expert. And here, I mean, I suppose the easiest would be if I give you, I don't know, 10 bullet points that this, if you fulfill, then you are the best COST expert ever, and you will be surely selected. If you're missing one of the 10, then it's not possible. Unfortunately, I can't do that. And this is, of course, also the beauty of COST. Being a bottom-up and multidisciplinary funding program, you can never know what you need as an expertise to basically see what you get in front of you as a proposal is worth funding or not. So the closest I can give you a definition, but please don't call it a definition, a description about a COST expert background and requirements foreseen is that the COST evaluators are selected based on proven expertise in their fields, matching with the areas of expertise required by the proposals. As for topics, there is no limitation in the type of experts' scientific and technological background. There is no criteria on age or scientific advancement, the level of career, but the COST evaluator must be a renowned expert. He or she must not necessarily belong to an academic institution. However, a university degree and considerable scientific or professional experience in the specific areas of expertise are a requirement, but not necessarily associated to a PhD. I know it doesn't give the clear and direct answer of how many years of experience do I have to have, what kind of level of academic career must I be in order to become a cost expert, because there is no such thing. What exists is that your proven expertise is matched against the required expertise of the proposals, and these are the two bases that count in selecting and adhering the experts to the proposals. So even if you are in early part of your career, but your expertise is significant, or if you have so many fields of expertise that go beyond the 10 suggested before, please don't feel discouraged from becoming a cost expert. Put forward your register, and then allow us or allow as the proposers to see what kind of expertise we need. And we really hope that your expertise will be one of those and can count on your support. Thank you very much. And by that, I would give back happily the floor to Brigitta and colleagues for the closing words, conclusion, and any remaining questions that might be.
Thanks a lot, Katalin. Thanks a lot, Rose, for this nice and very clear presentations that you had. Also, thank you very much for Vilmante and Katrin for bringing more insights from exact experts, exact contact points. I think we have kind of 2 more questions to answer, because there was one question at the beginning, like I am already registered at the expert database, but I never received anything, no invitation. So can you reply to that one?
You mean someone who has been registered but has not been invited for so long? I don't know the person and I don't know the case, but as based on what has distributed before, there might be that his or her expertise were not one of those that were requested by the proposals received. Another possibility could be that maybe her details or his details are not fully updated in the database, or maybe there is some discrepancy between the information provided in the ECOS database and in the online sphere. So that could be the reasons, I can say as upfront.
I would like to add on that also that it's because probably that the profile is not updated, or there are no links to the work. And when you are looking for evaluators, it is really taking so much time. And if it's not available also in the language that is clear, sometimes there are profiles in English, but when we click the link, it is not in English language. So it already lessened the chance to be selected. So please update and put the correct links.
Yeah, thanks a lot for this precise instructions. It is important to update the profiles, whether that's cost profile or the European Commission expert base constantly, not to rely on what's been there for a few years. But as Vilmante said, like, you never know what kind of expertise will be needed at that concrete call. And after 3 years or so, you can be contacted by cost officials. And just one more question for clarification for myself as well, because I have a scientific background, but I have not been active in science for more than 10 years, just more like administrator. Do you need only like really with scientific expertise, or some people with more project administration expertise or IPR expertise? There was also one of the questions in the chat.
I would say that the first expert, the main field of expert, main field is scientific expertise. All the rest could come handy if there are projects or proposals that are looking into project management from a scientific point of view, and there you need experts who actually know what project management is. But this is to be seen in the proposals received. So it's mainly scientific expertise.
Yeah, Catherine has a...
I just wanted to add one point which I noticed in the chat, and I actually also wanted to mention it in my short speech. It is that there are 4 rounds in the evaluation and selection of the cost proposals, and the 2 more evaluation-focused rounds are first expert-based evaluation, which ends with a consensus report by 3 evaluators, and then the second one is review panel evaluation. And experts who end their work with a consensus report, the only limitation or counter argument to participate as expert is that they will not be allowed to participate in that particular project which they happen to evaluate if the project gets funding. But they are allowed to join later all other actions in that round. Review panel members, this is a second step. They are nominated by national coordinators, by the way, as candidates, and then contacted by cost officials. And they indeed, if they participated in review panel in a certain round, then they will not be allowed to join any action that got funding in that round, even if they didn't evaluate that. But for experts, this doesn't apply. So experts should not be afraid that they won't be able to join any other actions in that round.
Thanks a lot for this clarification. Now, at the very end of our event, we have a few questions for all of you. So, Julia, could you please set up the poll? So, yeah, we want to know whether this event was somehow useful for you, or will it really convince you that it's worthwhile to register as cost expert? Or maybe you understood that no, it's not for me, definitely so. Okay, a few more seconds for you to fill in the pool. Yeah, the questions are not too complicated, I guess. Okay, let's see the results. Okay, I think, yeah, I think it's a very positive result. So thank you very much for the time that you dedicated to this event. Yeah, I see the Rose in the chat is posting some useful links, but you will get also these links with the follow-up email, and the email will have attached the slides from our presenters. So with this one, I want to really thank you all our presenters. Thank COST for wonderful cooperation, that they were so open to our suggestion to have an event on cost evaluation. And I think we all enjoyed this 1 hour of our lives here. Ula, do you want to say also something from your side?
Yes, thank you very much for all the presenters and participants and co-organizers. And I really encourage to register yourself as an expert, because as it was shown today, that it's really provides a very good experience. And I think for your future project proposals, I think it's a very, very interesting experience as well. So thank you from my side, and let's meet again in our next events.
Yeah, and if you need some Lithuanian or Estonian colleagues, so feel free to contact us, our liaison officers, and we can help you to find the partners for your cost action applications. There is still time for the new applications until September. Thank you again, and see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone, and thank you.
Thank you, Katrin. Thank you, Rose. Kathleen.
Bye.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.